This week's parasha starts off by Yaakov Moshe. It's called Israel. Moshe gathered all the Yidden and he told them 6 days you should work and the seventh day is Shabbos. Chazal explained that he was telling them that even though building the Mishkan is really important, but you can't build the Mishkan on Shabbos. And the Sfarim, as Fasemes and Shem Shmuel and others explain what this means for us in our lives. Now, what was the purpose of the Mishkan? And we know the Mishkan was only given to us as a mitzvah after we did the Egel. Because before we did the Egel, we didn't need a Mishkan. So what does the Mishkan do in our current life when we're in a fallen state, when we're not perfect? Because Adam Rishon and Klal Yisrael after the Matan Torah were in a state of perfection. There was no need to work. There was no lamitas malachas. But after Klal Yisrael fell, and we're in a state that we're not constantly in Gan Eden, in a state of dvekas and serenity, we need to go out there and work and do 6 days of working. But there's a very important point. And this is what the Mishkan teaches us. That even though we have to go out there and get distracted by 1,000 different things in our lives, things that we need to do, mistakes in our past, and all the things that take over our mind, but we have to know that all of this comes to a unified purpose. It really is, all we do is to bring Hashem into this world and to live a life filled with unity and peace. And the Mishkan had the Lamitas Malachas. We learned the 39 Malachas of Shabbos from the Mishkan, because the Mishkan was a place in this world that showed that all of reality and all of Malachas that we do, and all of space and time, really is unified. And the idea of unity is very, very, it's an amazing thing which we can all use for ourselves, because what makes us feel confused and low in confidence and low in good feeling about ourselves is because we evaluate ourselves and we perceive our self-value and self-worth based on what other people think about us, based on what society thinks of what's good, based on how we perceive what we have done in the past and what we need to still do in the future. But that isn't true. The Mishkan teaches us that really all that exists is Hashem. And we don't need to justify our existence. We don't need to have done this amount or have succeeded this amount in life or be this type of perfect Jew to be happy and content with ourselves. Just with the fact that we are a human being in this world, in Hashem's world, and we're a Yid, and we're a Neshama, that itself should make us happy. The inner stillness of our life, just the being, the fact that we exist. It's only the ego that needs to justify its own existence by either putting others down so it feels good, or by looking for other things in life, the short-term pleasures of life to feel good, something new, something fresh. But if we are connected to our deepest self, the place that's connected with Hashem, the present, then we don't need any outside stimulation, because we're constantly in touch with the newness of the world. And that's why Shabbos, which is talking about, which reminds us of Hashem creating the world and the fact that Hashem constantly creates the world. And Shabbos is the day where all the fragmentation of the world and all the different distractions come together in one. As we say in Kegavna, that in Shabbos is Rosa de Echad, is Achdus, all the 6 sides, the 6 things going all around us, just unifies as one. And the peace of Shabbos that's when we can feel still and connected with our inner self without any outer stimulation. And that's why on Shabbos we didn't need to build the Mishkan, because on Shabbos we don't need to. It's a different mindset. It's not a weekday mindset where we have to be out there and dealing with all kinds of different things in our lives which can keep us keep us losing focus and our mind be fragmented in many different places. But on Shabbos, we don't need to build a Mishkan. Because on Shabbos, the world itself is in a peaceful place, in a unified reality. And so Sfasamus explains that that's the idea of a Yakel Moshe. Moshe gathered. He gathered all the Yidden, all the different facets and fragmentations of our life. And he said, Shabbos, it's all gathered into one. And that's also the idea of a Chodesh Hazel Lachem. Chodesh Hazel Lachem means that there's a newness to our life. Because if we search for newness, we want newness is what we want the whole time. Because Hashem is Mechadesh B'tuva B'cholim Tamid. There's a constant newness coming into the world, and we crave that because we crave closeness to Hashem. We crave dveikus. That's what we crave as human beings, because that is the purpose of human being in this world. So what we really want, the void we're trying to fill, is the feeling of being connected to the newness of the world as it comes in. And that is only found deep inside, in the stillness of life, in the present. But unfortunately, that's hard. It's hard to find that. It's hard to be present and peaceful and dveikus with Hashem. So we look for other newness, a holiday, a quick this, there, a quick whatever gives us that rush, that feeling of excitement. But really, Hashem tells us, in preparation for Yetzias Mitzrayim, don't be searching outside for all these things. The Chiddush is inside of you. And if we look for other things, that's when we're not able to find this chadshus inside of us. The Gemara in Shabbos brings the story of Lazar ben Aroch, went out to some kind of spring and to relax, or whatever it was, and he came back and he read the Torah of HaChodesh Hazel Lachem, and he said, HaCheresh Hoya Libam. Instead of HaChodesh Hazel Lachem, he said, HaCheresh Hoya Libam, which means their heart was deaf. And maybe the idea is that when we look for Chodesh outside of ourselves, then our heart becomes deaf. It doesn't perceive the newness of the world. But when we look for the Chodesh Hazel Lachem, when we look for the unity inside of us, the chadshus coming in, then we don't need any outside things, and we can just be peaceful with ourselves. And that's the biggest gift, the biggest geula we can have is a superpower. To be able to just be content and serene with ourselves, not having to torment ourselves with guilt, or be worried about the future, worried what other people think. Just be with ourselves, with Hashem. And that's what it means to make a Mishkan. Inside, for each one of us to be peaceful and serene and confident and connected to truth. And Be'ez Hashem, we should all feel the Geula coming in, Rosh Chodesh Nisan. And we should feel this chadshus coming into our lives. And Shabbos, we should be able, that's why we read Parashat Chodesh in Shabbos, because Shabbos is the power, says the Sfasamas, to give us that feeling of its chadshus coming into the world, to feel that newness and peace and unity in the world. Shabbos, everyone.